Well, hello MGTOW, welcome back, welcome to my channel. So this video is intentionally left in a dark screen. I promised myself that I wasn't gonna put another video out with a dark screen because I thought that it's the kind of video that won't give you much, right? It won't give my subscribers much to look at. People tend to like the beautiful imagery that I often come across when I'm on the road. So let's talk about what leads a guy to suicide, right? Let's talk about controlling the mind first of all, and then we're going to talk about the attitude that you should have. So this video is divided in those two parts. Number one, what can lead a guy to suicide, right? The way of thinking of someone who may commit suicide because his life may not be going the way he may want it to be going, as opposed to someone who commits suicide willingly for a greater cause, right? So what happens in the mind of someone who is going to commit or thinking of committing suicide, right? Let's face it, guys. Life is shit. It really is. People don't say rest in peace for anything, right? When someone dies, it's because life is brutal. It's full of bullshit. That's just the way it is. And it is assumed that when someone dies, they finally get to rest. Life is burdensome, and it's burdensome not just for the ones at the bottom of the economic pyramid here, but it's burdensome for everybody. Everybody suffers. The rich suffer, right? They suffer the scorn of the people that have less resources at their disposal. The envy of the greater society, right? So they suffer too, right? The ugly suffer, the fat suffer, the skinny suffer, right? No one's perfect, and so life is just that. It's full of oddities, right? It's full of situations which that we may not, that we'd rather not want to deal with, right? Situations that have no solution, and odds are that if you're alive, you're gonna get some of that. So guys, it's very easy, right? Very easy for anyone really to to let one situation or another start bothering you, right? You start playing these images repeatedly in your mind, right? So the things we say, right? The things we remember, how we remember the past, right? And the things that happen to us, right? That we're beyond our control, right? These things, they can take a toll, especially over time. The little things that get to us, right? So sometimes it can be something big that happened to us, right? Something that we could not prevent, and it just makes us angry. And being angry is okay. It's the natural response. It means that we get angry when someone took advantage of us, right? As it often happens when we deal with women. They take advantage of men, and that makes us angry. There's death by 1,000 cuts, right? Little by little, little things that bother us, and they just, over time they pile up in the mind. And if we focus on these things, right? If we give them importance, then we can become depressed. And depression is the constant, you know, replay of those images in our minds, right? Wondering, why me, right? Why did it happen to me, of all people? I didn't deserve it. And it can be hurtful. But now you know, right? It happened to you just because those are the odds. Just because you were there, just because you were alive. It had nothing to do with who you were as a person. Shit happens. It just does. And it's just a matter of refocusing your energy on, on how things can be better, on the possibility that tomorrow may bring a better day, a better future for you. And sometimes it's just curiosity that carries you forward, right? The wanting to know, right? What if I live another day, right? What if I just make it through today, right? Sometimes it's just that. When things get real shitty and it's raining on you and it's dark out and you're lonely and the past has been less than great, it's been a past that's left a lot to be desired. Do you have the courage to go forward? Do you value yourself enough? Do you value yourself enough? And you have to value yourself above all else. MGTOW is an individualistic philosophy. It talks about the liberation of man. You go in your way, and you can't go anywhere if you're not alive, right? You have to want to, move to a better position. And the way to think about things is to bring forth the attitude within you that says, you know what, I'm gonna push forward no matter what. I'm gonna assume that life has value, and if your mother was a bitch, right, and she just totally abused you when you were a kid, maybe it was a wife, maybe you were mistreated by another one of your fellow male human beings. There are many of them out there. They'll sell you out. So the attitude to have is, hey, you can't count on people. You got to push forward. You got to go on. You have to go on. You have to move on. And you're gonna move on because you value yourself. You're gonna move on because you're curious about what tomorrow may bring. You're gonna move on because there's a reason why you're alive. Of all the people that could have been alive, and in the worst times of suffering, it is you that has the gift of living, the gift of consciousness. And people will betray you, especially your closest allies, family, right? Your biological family will often be the ones to do you dirty, right? In the worst possible ways, and that's that kind of makes sense when once you look at it, once you examine the situation, right? They know you best. That is why they can cause more damage to you, right? If this is kind of like the same game that governments play, right? We want to know much more about the Russians and the Chinese than say the Europeans, right? Us being Americans, because the more we know, the more we can inflict harm on them, right? The more we can control them. And so sometimes that's what happens, right? You get someone who's ill-intentioned, right? And they know you, and you trusted them, and they do you harm. And it's just a matter of having the fortitude, right? The strength of character to say no, to say these people are not gonna have the best of me. And I'm gonna push on. I'm gonna move forward. And with every step that I make, I'm gonna become stronger and stronger. And if God gives up on you, and you still have to push forward. You still have to move on. You still have to see tomorrow. It's about valuing yourself above all else. And this is okay. It's okay to give yourself permission to do that, as long as you yourself have good intentions for what it is that you want to, accomplish in the world, right? And there may come a time when you ask yourself, well, you know what? If God has given up on me, if my family has given up on me, if I'm in a strange place and the people hate my guts, then why am I living, right? Why am I living? That's when your resolve will get tested, right? When you have situations like that, when you find yourself perhaps in a hospital bed, right, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and the only person there is the surgeon, right? And no family shows up, no friends show up. You've been so alienated from everything that that question is lurking in the shadows, right? Lurking in the background. Is life worth living? But the answer is the same. You have to go on. You have to move on. You must continue. You must push forward. You don't know what tomorrow may bring. It may be laughter, it may be joy, it may be a new perspective in life, right? And once you discover these things, you'll have added additional strength, because you lived through the hard times, and you'll be able to appreciate these things more, right? The little gifts of life, right? And enjoy them more thoroughly. MGTOW itself is a gift. It's the gift that says that you now have the opportunity to focus on yourself, on your life, on your dreams, on your desires, on your ambitions, and to create something beautiful, something that will leave the world a better place, something with your name on it, something inspiring, the kind of thing that gets people thinking. It may be a new hobby you take up, it may be a collection of items that you begin putting together, right? Maybe a garden that you want to work on. It may be your children that you want to see grow and prosper and be healthy and joyful. It's up to you now. So it's worth living. It's worth giving it a try. It's worth continuing. It's worth moving forward. Only you can give yourself permission to do that, right? Must be done, you know, after every trying situation, right? We all go through it, especially nowadays, you know, with this industrialized society, post-industrial society that we live in, right? Where there's so much stress in order to just survive, right? Where the possibility of finding yourself without shelter is, you know, it's ever more present, right? Ever more threatening, right? These things can be stressful. But then there's the joy of finding the solution to those problems, right? Or if not the solution, the best solution, at least you know, a workable arrangement, right? That will allow you to continue living, right? Living, you know, for life's sake, right? Because we're operating on under the assumption that life has value. It must have value. You know, if it's innately, you know, if it's ingrained within us to want to keep doing it, you know, because it feels bad, right, when we consider not continuing to live, right? Therefore, life must have value, especially a joyful life, right? Anyways, I thank you for listening, guys. You know, thank you for listening to this audio here, and I'm kind of guilty of the fact that I have not made myself as available as other MGTOW content producers out there have made themselves, you know, available to talk to someone who may be in need. I tend to be somewhat withdrawn from the manosphere itself. And my way of sharing has been to put these videos out there, right? But I tend to do it in a very detached way, and I do that because I never thought of myself as a very social person, even though at times I may have been, you know, more social than at in other occasions. But this is the style that fits me, and I hope it's helpful enough. Right? I hope it brings you know, new perspectives and new solutions to someone who may be listening to these videos, right? And so I do want to apologize for being somewhat withdrawn, somewhat detached from the manosphere itself, right? But I do hope that that this video is useful, right, to you. And if you know, if not, then at least interesting, right? And that you found value in it. Anyways, MGTOW, I thank you for listening once more. And if you like the video, you please give it a thumbs up, share it if you think that it needs to be shared with someone. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much.